Get Warrior Talk, Mental Training 101 with Andrew Whitman and Dutch Coleman. And now back to Andrew and Dutch.
All right, we're back. Andrew and Dutch, Dutch and Andrew. All right, Dutch, right before the break, we were talking about, isn't it up to us as individuals to be happy? Isn't it up to us as individuals to be happy? And I'm going to tell you, yes. I mean, because whose life is it anyway, Dutch? If it ain't up to you to be happy in your own life, like who should be in charge of that?
Absolutely. You're, like you said, you're abdicating that. You're giving that away, and it's a shame that many of us don't recognize that we have that control. But that's why people like us are here to explain that to you. I mean, you're in complete control, and once you realize you're in complete control, then that negativity turns into positivity, or it turns into whatever you want it to turn into. So that's the key. We're not here to tell you to be happy. We're not here to tell you to be sad. We're here to merely tell you that you're in control of whatever happens. It's your choice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now listen, and I've had people, I've had people that were be like complaining about where they work, complain about where they live, complain, right? So they're just not and then they're always looking for the better thing. It's going to be better somewhere else they go. If they found a better job, if they found a better neighborhood to live in, you know what? If you find the perfect place to live or the perfect place to work, don't go there, because you will screw it up.
That's so true. If people take a moment to think about that, they'll see how true that is.
Wherever you go, you're going with you. You bring you. So happiness ain't going to be for where somebody is, not because you're with a different person and a different group of people, or you live somewhere better, or you had a better boss, or you have it, because you're always going to be wherever you go. So if you can't be happy with you, holy smoke, you're never going to be happy ever. No matter how much stuff you have, no matter what kind of perfect setup you have at work, no matter if you met the perfect spouse and you married them, don't, because you'll ruin them. It's mind-boggling to me how people would give that. This is why we're talking about CEO of you, right? I'm CEO of me. I wouldn't give anybody else on planet Earth the power over my happiness. Why would you?
Yeah, and we always say what you believe is true. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It is.
You're absolutely right every time. Trust me. Those out there that want to be right all the time, guess what? In this case, you're always right. Whatever you think, whatever you feel, whatever you say, you're absolutely right. So stick with that, and you're going to prove yourself right every time. So again, the good news in that is that it can be flipped. It can be flipped just as quickly as you screwed it all up. It can be fixed that quickly. What do you believe? What do you want? What do you know? Not how do you feel, but what do you know? What's real? What's a fact? And when you go from there and you make those choices, then you're going to be just fine. And believe me, it's just the beginning. And so it doesn't end there. We're not telling you it's some magic words or something that happens, or some magic things that you say to yourself, but that's the beginning of getting to where you need to be.
Absolutely. So here's another question for you, Dutch. We're talking about this. So what is the key to being in control of your own well-being? People ask me that. What's the key to being in control of your own well-being? I'll let you take a first whack at it, man.
Well, the key, I think, that we talked about first was the choice, making that choice, right?
Yeah.
You got to make that choice. The other thing is what is it based on? What's the thing we always say? Compared to what?
Right,
what's your target? What are you trying to be? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? Because there are certain levels of happiness there. And if you have no target, then you're going to be all over the place. When someone asks you that question, honestly, you can't even answer the question, because what are you basing it on? What was your target? And you hear us talk about all that. I mean, you hear us talk about targets all the time. You hear us talk about processes all the time. You're going to always hear us talk about that, because it's the root of everything. And we deal with the root of problems. We don't deal with how you feel. We don't deal with the branches that are extending, that are getting in our way. We're going to go to the root, and the root is always going to come back to your process and your target. So in terms of happiness, what was your target, or what is your target?
Right, and I like to say it like what's your destination? Okay, because people are like, wow, what are you talking? Think about like if you were going on a family trip. Where are you going? Right, that's what, and then you could plan. That's the process. Is the process after you have the destination. Like, let's say it like this, Dutch. Like, say you and I, we're going to go to Rome in 2 weeks. What do we got to do? We're leaving in 2 weeks. What do we got to do?
We got to find out when the flights are leaving.
Yeah, we got to book flights.
Flights, room, hotels.
Right, hotels, right? What do we, we got to pack. Is it going to be winter over there, summer over there? How do I pack? See, the process almost self-populates once you know where your destination is. This is how you take control over your well-being. As soon as you decide where it is that you want to go, where you want your life to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I mean, and you know me, Dutch, how long's my plan?
300 years.
I got a 300-year plan, baby. I mean, my plan is that I got a destination that's 300 years out. And so I am completely in control of my well-being and my happiness. And all I have to do is this going to help me or hurt me get to my target? That's how I take complete control. The process is very, very simple once you get clarity on what your destination is. But that blows a lot of people's mind. 300 years. You're like, oh, hey, Andrew, you ain't going to make it. I'd be like, well, how do you think that Paris Hilton can do whatever it is that she does? Do you know what she does, Dutch?
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I mean, so, right? The reason that she could do that is because her great-great-grandparents had a 300-year plan. In fact, this week I was looking, so I'm knocking out these, like the top 100. Fortune just came out with their top 100 companies to work at in the U.S., top 100 companies. One of those companies, top company to work for, is the Hilton Hotels. Hilton. They got like some ridiculous number of employees. I can't remember, between it was 30 and 70,000. And they're constantly hiring. Oh, and let me just throw this out. You know what's interesting? Because I'm going through this list of all these great places to work. Top 100 companies. Dutch, how many openings do these are the best places, the very best, perfect places to work in the country. How many openings do you think they have? You would think they'd be totally full. How many openings?
A ton of them, probably.
Yeah, over 101,000.
Oh, my goodness.
101,000 open jobs. See, this cracks me up when I hear all this stuff about the economy's in the tank. There's no jobs. No, there's at the very best places to work in this country. There's 101,000 openings right now. If you ain't happy, just go get one of those. Now, but if that's your target, let's just say your target was to go work at one of these companies, then you have to decide, well, which one of those jobs do I want? And then I have to go train for those jobs. To see, most people don't want to take that. See, if they don't know, hey, that's the job I want, then they go to school, they get the training for it. Okay, and yeah, I know it might take you 3 or 4 years to get there. Even though if you're 40 years old, it doesn't even matter right now. If you're 50 years old, if that's your target and that's where you want to go, then you need to, that's your destination, then it self-populates. Well, then I got to go to school, and then I got to go to school here for this, and then I got to make these grades, and then it's very simple. But we won't, I can't do 4 years. People be like, I'm just so unhappy in my job. Okay, so here's a great place to work. It might take you 4 more years of school or technical training to get this job. So from 4 years from now, you could have the best work at one of the best places in the country. They still won't do it.
It's almost, I would be ashamed to, once it finally clicked for me that once you come up with a target, it's almost like being on automatic pilot. Because all the things that are needed, and I really want people to get this, because you can say this and people can miss it. Once you come with a target, all the next questions that you need answered, they appear, like you said, it self-populates. But I want to make sure everyone gets that. That means once you choose your target, then all the questions automatically come up in front of you for you to begin to answer. So a process is developed. So that takes away a lot of the work. That's why the target is so important. If I say, if I ask you a question about anything, I mean, just anything random, you can't answer it until you know the target, because you don't know. There's a million questions that you don't know what the questions are.
You're exactly
you have no
right,
idea.
Man.
You're completely lost.
You're exactly right. Exactly.
And the moment you establish that target, all those questions just appear immediately, like you said when you used the example of Greece. But people need to understand on a very basic and simple level how powerful that is, and how this is not magic, but it works for every single scenario.
Yeah, and you know what? And this is why I say goal setting is a complete waste of time. Because if you don't so here we go. We're going to go on this vacation, right? Maybe you didn't know whether we were going to Rome. So let's go set some goals. We're going on vacation. I need surfboards. I need skis. I need hunting rifles. I need wait, where we're going? Oh, we're going to Rome. So I hit all these goals, and I went and I spent money and time and invested resources in accomplishing these goals that they're not taking me to where I'm going. So until you have your target, setting goals is a complete waste of your time. And that's why you ain't happy. And that's why you're stressed, because you don't know where you're going. Have you ever been lost on the road, Dutch? Like before GPS. I had my nephew, he's 14. He said, how'd you guys get around anywhere before like GPS? And I'm like, they had this thing called the map and an atlas. Do you remember that, Dutch?
Oh, yes, I'm ashamed that I ever used a map. They actually put my finger on it, and I was pointing. I remember pointing down the street, like, yeah, then you turn here, and then we're going to go here. Oh, I'm ashamed. I feel ashamed.
Yeah, you're so old. But, I mean, this is really, this is where you get stressed out, because I'm not lost. Could you just stop and ask for directions? I don't need to stop and ask for directions. I know where, right? And then when GPSs first came out, I would trust them things. I was going up to see my friend up in Long Island. You know, I'm from South Carolina. We did like the MapQuest thing and the GPS. It had me going over the Triborough Bridge like 3 times. I mean, and it's $25 every time you cross that thing. I mean, it seems like I had to take out a second mortgage just because it had me over in the Bronx. And I stopped at a police station to get direct. I'm not happy. Not happy because I didn't know where I was going and I was lost. Right? So this is what happens when you don't know where you're going in life. And that's why that's why people aren't happy. That's how they abdicate this power and over to others, because they really haven't taken control of their own well-being by deciding where it is that they want to go. All right, so we all heard about this personal responsibility thing. Here's a question. Andrew, we've all heard about personal responsibility. How do you actually take it?
How do you actually take the personal responsibility?
Yeah, I love this question.
How do you take you just take it.
You just do it, right? Exactly.
Do it.
How hard is that? I mean, why does this? There is no try. Trying is lying. I'm going to try to take part. No, trying is lying. You just do it, man. Stop being a victim.
Yeah. And again, most of the things we deal with are going to be simple. And we're not here to fool you. We're not here to trick you. We're not here to mislead you. You know, it really is that simple. And until you make it that simple and you just try it in all its simplicity, you will never know how much time you're wasting or that you have wasted. It is really that simple. Again, things will begin to happen the moment you move. You have to move. You have to make some decisions. But again, the same thing with this, the talk that I've had about decisions and choices. Once you make a decision, the choices almost put you on automatic pilot.
Right.
They take care of themselves because of the decision. Your choices are going to support the decision. So that's the biggest problem in life for most people, and that are inhibiting their happiness, that are slowing them down. Make a decision, make a choice, make action, move, do something, get up. As a rap group used to say, get up, get out, and get something. You know, go, do something.
And what was that? What was that thing from Nike? Right, just do it.
Just do it.
I mean, and what did Yoda say? There is no
there
try.
There is no try. There is only do.
Yeah, and these are very, very, like you said, simple things. I always crack me up. Well, what's the secret to taking personal responsibility? Just take it. You're listening to the Get Warrior Tough radio show with Andrew Whitman and D. Dutch Coleman.